That's right. You've come to the right place. If you want to install Drupal now, if you want to install Drupal fast, if you want to do it right the first time, this is the site. But it's more than that. It's about empowering young people to be independent of a corporate job. You don't need to be working at McDonald's. You don't need to work at Subway. You can make serious money even at an early age. You can do this. Here we go. Welcome to homeschoolwebmaster.com. I'm Chad.
And I'm Sean. And we're going to show you how to have a powerful, easy to use website up in as little as 24 hours. But first, let us tell you a little bit about ourselves.
I began homeschooling my 10th grade year, and one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't follow my heart's desires during this time. I was so scared that I would miss God's will for my life that I constantly was praying, "Please, God, show me your will for my life." But I never really got a clear message, or so I thought. So I waited. I didn't want to make the wrong move or upset God, but what I didn't realize is that He'd already given me the direction I needed. The whole reason I'm here is I don't want you to make that same mistake. If God has already given you the answer, I want you to realize what that is. I want you to take the next step in your life. One of my favorite chapters in all the Bible is Psalms 37. And in Psalms 37:4 it says this, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." Now you can take that two ways. One, God will give you whatever you desire. Whatever desires on your heart, God will give you. That's one way to interpret that verse. Or, the second way is the way I prefer to look at this verse, is that God actually comes down and gives us His desires. If we're seeking God, God will give us His desires. So, if God has put desires on your heart, you need to pursue those desires and trust they're from God. It wasn't until I was 24 that I really realized what I'm telling you today. Oh, I owned a window cleaning business and a janitorial business, but that was really just because that's what my dad did. I finally started following the desires of my heart, which was electronics and business. I went back to school, learned computers, I began editing, and pretty soon I was editing video for other people. Within 2 years, I had a job with a very successful ad agency in North Texas. We were working on 30 and 60-second commercials with doctors' offices, medical facilities, and hospitals. But I wanted more, so I opened my own business. It wasn't long before my church began to ask me to volunteer to head up their media ministry. That went from volunteer to part-time to full-time, and that's what I've been doing for the last 5 years. I've now been a professional videographer, editor, and webmaster for 10 years.
Unlike Chad, I am not called to media. My calling is to youth ministry. I do web design on the side. I'm here to tell you that youth ministry is the first and most important calling on my life. But I have learned web design, and it has been a great help in my ministry. It has been a tool I can use to communicate with my ministry and help keep them informed of what's going on. So maybe you don't want to be a web designer your whole life, but take this chance to learn something new and creative. Push yourself to learn a new tool that you could use later in life. Because a year ago, I was where you are, knowing almost nothing about web design. But now I'm building websites for myself, my church, and I'm helping supplement my income so I can stay in the ministry God has for me.
We want to see you redeem this time, and if web design is something that's on your heart, you've come to the right place. Sean and I will be teaching you how to use the most powerful content management system on earth today. It's called Drupal.
Drupal is used by whitehouse.gov, 100% of bands produced by Sony, and millions of corporations across the world. And if you take the time to learn it now, you can become a business owner instead of flipping burgers. Imagine being able to help your church or your volunteer organization reach the world with their message. You can make a difference in people's lives using the internet.
By the time you finish this first course, you will have your own website. You will be a webmaster with your own .com, and people will be able to go to your site on the World Wide Web. You will be able to have your first site up in less than 24 hours.
At the end of this first course, we will be asking you for your opinion on what kind of site you want to build. Whatever kind of site, shopping cart, blog, church, informational, photo, whatever receives the most vote will be our next series. Make sure you vote.
Let's get your first site up. Click on the next button and let's get started.